Hey, what's up guys? I know it's been a while since you've seen me. I've been super busy with life and just haven't played cards, haven't gone anywhere to play cards. A lot of stuff has happened the last few months. December with the holidays, I'm sure they were busy for you guys as well. But I also had a big movie gig that was both December and January, just off and on throughout both months. They were shooting different scenes, random days, so I didn't really have a length of time free. Kind of had to be just ready and on call. So that was that, but we made it back to Vegas. We were there for 5 days early this month and got a lot of content for you guys. And in this one, you're about to see, we go to the best spot, or probably the top spot, poker room in Vegas. I'm sure now, I mean, let me know in the comments where you guys like to play the most or the best spot, but that is the Wynn. So we play 2-5 at the Wynn, and this is the first trip of 2025. And you guys will just have to watch the video to find out. But hope you guys enjoy this one, and stay tuned to the end because I have some details on the next meetup game, and it's coming up very soon, so you won't want to miss it. That's right, back in Vegas. It's been since early November that we were here, and we all know how that went down. I honestly don't think I can do this. Like, f this low stake bullshit. Like, f this. The first spot we decided to play at on this almost week-long trip is the Wynn. This location hasn't been the best to us in the past, but it's a new year, so let's see if we can change that. We start the session off around 4:30 p.m. It's a 2-5 no limit game, and we sit down with the max $1,500. Sadly, only the middle seat was available, so had no choice. I just prefer the ends for filming purposes. Get to see the whole table, better view for you guys. We only play an orbit here. We take down a hand with ace-jack of spades, flop the nut flush draw, but miss it, and end up with some showdown value, rivering a jack that ends up being enough. Someone does rack up, so we do get the chance to move seats, and the first interesting hand we get involved in, we're in the small blind with ace-queen of clubs. It folds to the button, and he limps for $5. We're next to act and raise things up. We make it $30 to go. Standard amount is 3x plus a denom for the limper and an additional for being in the worst position. So $25 would be the standard amount. But the reason for going a hair bigger was because the button player was playing almost every hand. So we go bigger knowing he's more than likely gonna call. The big blind calls $30 and surprisingly the button lets it go. Oh well, we're still heads up. And the flop comes ace king jack with one club. The big blind checks out of turn. It didn't seem like an angle from her, just something I see older players sometimes do. I portray this action as weakness and take it at face value and c-bet to $20. She calls pretty much right away. Nothing to be alarmed about just yet. We'll see what happens on the turn though. The turn is a queen of spades, full rainbow out there. 4 to a straight, but giving us 2 pair. She checks out of turn again, and now it seems like she's afraid of the board somehow, not taking it as the nuts like an OMC checking the stone cold nuts. Just a feeling on how she checked. I could be wrong though. I only been here 30 minutes, so not 100% sure, but relatively confident. So we continue for $55, and like the flop, she quickly makes a call. I feel like if she had a 10, she'd take her time. So thinking 2 pair like king jack or queen jack, even though we blocked that hand. And now we're off to a river. It comes and it's a blank, the 7 of spades. She checks out of turn for a 3rd time. So to me, that triple confirms she doesn't have a 10. She has around $400 or $500 in her stack. We're confident we have her beat. So what amount can 2 pair or any other ace call? It's going to be kind of hard with 4 cards to a straight out there, but the number we come up with is 1 black chip, and right away I can tell she doesn't like it. Nope, we do not have a 10. She takes longer with this decision. We obviously want to call, but she eventually mucks. And when she folded, a card flips, and it was a king, so I'm pretty sure she folded a hand like king jack, unless she thought about hero calling us with king 9 or king 8 suited. The next hand, we look down at an even better hand, pocket kings in the under the gun. We open a standard $15. It folds to the button who makes the call. The small blind calls, and that gives the big blind the green light to call as well. So we're going 4 ways to a flop. No ace, please dealer. And we get what we want, and it comes 4-4-8 rainbow, only losing to pocket 8s or a random 4, so sitting pretty. The blinds check and flow. We c-bet $30. It's hard to say if we would c-bet versus 3 other opponents if we didn't have a pair, but in this case, we do have one, so easy c-bet from us. The button cold calls, and the blinds release their cards, so now our heads up. The turn is paint. It's a queen of clubs, so bring in the backdoor flush draw. Not too much to worry about though. We still have an overpair to the board. We still got a good hand. It's not rocket science. We got a charge. So we continue and throw out $65 this time. The button takes maybe 10 seconds and makes a call again. I don't think he'd just call having a 4. So we're hoping for a blank on the river. And it's not quite what we wanted. It's the 9 of clubs. So Jack 10 and the backdoor clubs hit. We do not have the king of clubs, so not blocking any of those flush possibilities, but can't be afraid of backdoor monsters. And I'd be so upset if he checked back top pair and we just looked dumb flipping over our kings. So I think we have to keep on firing, and if he happens to raise, then we'll just cross that bridge when we get there. So we fire with confidence and make it $175 for value, targeting a queen. He thinks for a while this time. He looks back at his cards and does eventually lay it down. Maybe he had kicker issues like queen 10. If he did happen to raise, it would have put us in a really tough spot. He was an older Asian man, so an OMC, or at least I thought. Come to learn, he was here playing 2-5 until his 5-10 seat was available. So a raise in that spot could have meant anything really. But glad that didn't happen, and we take it down. It was time to take a quick food break. We come back not too long after and look down at pocket kings again. Let's go. Pocket kings in the same position, the end of the gun. We open to $15. It falls to the small blind, and he 3-bets to 60. I think we can go either way with 4-betting or just smooth calling. I don't know much about this player really, so we just make the call in position, and we're heads up to a flop, and it comes Jack 10-3 rainbow. He is first to act, and he makes a c-bet, and it's $45. He's going to do this with 100% of his range no matter what, and we usually make the call to see how he wants to proceed on the turn. The turn comes a blank. It doesn't change anything. It's a 5 of clubs. Action on him again. He takes a bit of time and throws out 2 blacks and announce $185. I think now we're kind of in check call mode the way we played it so far. A lot of hands are going through my head. Like if he did have top or middle set, why would he bet so big? If he is bluffing, we're going to let him do his thing. And if we're up against aces, then the river should go check, check, keeping the pot manageable. We do make the call. So with $585 in the middle, the river is another 5, the 5 of hearts, pairing the board. Now it's just a waiting game to see what he wants to do. He thinks about his options, reaches for black chips and red ones, and throws out almost a pot-sized bet, $515. A pretty hefty sized bet. I'm going over the hand in my head and trying to think of what hands he would do this with. Maybe queens or a bluff. Aces, queens, or a bluff. That's really all I can think of. I look back at my cards to see what suits they are. No club in our hand, so missed clubs is a possibility as well. I take out the $515 to maybe get a reaction out of him, but he doesn't budge. I'm still in the tank. I want to just be sure and not rush any decisions. I'm like, I guess if he does have aces, he deserves it. I look back at the suits one last time and make the call. He shakes his head and says, "You're good." He flashes his cards and has queen 9 suited. Glad we didn't 4-bet and got a good run out. It's kind of funny when he showed that hand, because even on the flop in my head, I'm like, I don't think I want to see a king. I don't know why, but I just don't want to see a king right now. But now I know why. The next hand, I think we misplayed. There's a hijack limp and a cutoff open to $20. It folds to us, and we look down at Wolfgang's hand, pocket 7s in the big blind. We make the call, and so does the hijack limper. We're 3 ways to a flop, and it comes Jack 7-5 rainbow. Middle set for us. I think this is the first time, not gonna lie, that we said Wolfgang's hand and actually hit a set, like it actually worked. We check and flow, as does the hijack, and the cutoff makes a continuation bet to $20. It's a dry board, so don't want to scare anyone off just yet. So we smooth call, looking to lead or check raise on the turn. The hijack makes the call as well, so still 3 ways. And the turn comes the queen of clubs, a full rainbow out there now, so less to worry about. And this is where we mess up, I think. We check. I guess if one of them bets, we check raise, but unfortunately they both check back, so that messed up our plans. Off to a river now, and the river comes the 10 of hearts. The straight does come in, but can't make the same mistake on checking and missing out on some value. So we lead on this card, and the bet is $75. The hijack makes a call, and the cutoff folds. We flip over our hand, expecting to win, but the hijack flips over 8-9 offsuit. Yep, it's our fault for letting him get there, but we're a 92% favorite going into it. Just so happened he caught, and it was cheap, so that's a positive. The problem with being first to act, I mean, it's a rainbow board. We want them to catch up a little bit, trips themselves or 2-pair. If the turn connected with the board a little more, like backdoor flush or something more connected, we would have led, but it was just super clean, so we decided to check. Can't reflect on it too much, because a few hands later, we get involved with the same guy. We have ace king in late position. We open to $15. The guy to our left on the button cold calls. The small blind folds, but the big blind, the same guy that we're talking about, he 3-bets to 105. Puts in a stack of reds and just leaves his big blind out there, so $105 total. He has a little over $300 behind. It folds to us. The guy to our left on the button has a similar chip stack to the big blind, a little less. So I'm kind of like, ace king, a great hand for $400 pre-flop. Let's do it. So we 4-bet to $300, basically an all-in without going all in. The button actually thinks about it. I'm like, there's no way he has a hand. If he did, he would have 3-bet himself. So not worried about him. And sure enough, he does let it go. The old man in the big blind goes all in. I asked if there's any blacks just to make sure.
There's no blacks or anything, right?
Because that would suck if he had some blacks that I couldn't see or some $500 purple chips. We don't show our hands, so we don't really know what we're up against. If players are willing to show theirs, I do. I prefer it actually, but he doesn't want to show. The flop is queen high. The turn is no help, but the river's an ace. I say pocket queens are good. He shows 2 face cards, and at a quick glance, it looks like queens, but nope, it's king queen offsuit, so we take it down, getting lucky. Well, actually, he got lucky first, because he was crushed pre-flop, but end up stacking him. That's what he gets for going runner earlier. So now we're even. Moving on to this hand, and what? Pocket kings again? The hijack opens to $15. The cutoff folds and button calls. We have to bump things up in the small blind. So we 3-bet to $60. Only the button makes the call for $45 more. So now we're heads up and it's safe. It's queen 6-4 with 2 clubs. And we have the king of clubs. We're first to act, and it's a safe board, like I said. So we c-bet to $45. He doesn't really think and makes a call right away. The turn brings a bad one for our hand. It's the ace of spades. Ew, gross. But now I'm thinking, what would we do if we were c-betting ace king? We'd probably keep firing, because if we check, this player is too good. He's going to take advantage of the weakness. So we continue and throw out 1 black chip. He thinks for a bit, but eventually folds. We show him that it was a bad card for us, but not bad. Back-to-back, winning with premiums. I'll take it. We're getting involved a lot now, just the way it goes in poker sometimes. You don't see a face card for hours, and all of a sudden you start seeing good starting hands. This one we're in the small blind again with pocket jacks. There's a limp in early position, folds to us, and no right way to play this hand, so we raise to 25. The big blind folds, and limper calls $20 more, so we're heads up to a flop. And it comes ace high with 2 spades. We're first to act, and we c-bet $25, the same as pre-flop. I didn't expect to win with just 1 c-bet. He makes a call. The turn is another overcard to our pair as a king of clubs. Now what do we do? It's just getting worse and worse. If he does have spades, we have to charge him. So we continue and just hope he doesn't have an ace or a king and make it $65. He doesn't take long at all and calls again. The river is another king. I don't know if a third barrel will get an ace to fold now. So we check, expecting him to bet with missed flushes, but he checks back. I say an ace is good, and sure enough, he does have an ace jack to be exact. So we get a little bit unlucky on this one. Perfect spot, jacks versus ace jack, but spikes an ace on the flop. In this one, there's a middle position and button limp for $5. We're next to act in the small blind, and we've seen kings and jacks. Now it's time for the ladies, pocket queens. We raise it up to $30, hoping to get a heads up, but that doesn't happen. The middle position limper calls, and the button getting a good price calls as well. Not the best outcome, but we still have the third best starting hand in poker. What can go wrong? Yep, an overcard can happen. The flop is king 4-2 rainbow. Out of position against two other opponents. I think I'll check this one. And we do, we check. The middle position player checks and the button checks. So still 3 ways to a turn, and it's the 6 of spades. Nothing's changed and still facing 2 opponents. I think betting is burning money, only gonna fold out worse and get called by better. So we check again. The middle position player takes initiative and bets pretty big, $125 over the size of the pot. The button folds, and maybe against a half pot size bet, we keep him honest, but over pot size, nah, we just let it go to picking a better spot to defend. Finally, we're in position. It feels like all these hands we've been in the worst position or close to the worst, but now we're on the button. The under the gun limps for $5. The low jack raises it up to 20. The hijack and cutoff fold. We are next and look down at another pair, 9s. We make the call, can go either way in position, mostly the fact that we're in position, but just to make our lives easier, we call. The blinds get out of the way, and the limper calls, so going 3 ways to a flop, and we flop a set. Middle set on an ace-high board. There are 2 spades, but loving life right now. The under the gun, who was not the initial aggressor, bets out and leads for $30. The low jack makes the call, and with this board against 2 players who have already showed interest in the hand, I don't think smooth calling is the way to go. We can charge flush draws, and any ace is gonna call a raise. So we raise it up and make it $125 to go. The under the gun who realizes his lead was a mistake, doesn't make another one, and lets it go. The low jack, on the other hand, makes the call. So again, thinking he has an ace, a good ace, with maybe the king or queen of spades. But now we're heads up, and the turn comes a blank and offsuit 2. He checks on over to us, which is expected. We have a great hand, and gotta keep firing for value, and to charge those draws, no seeing cards for cheap. We assemble some chips and bet out $275. He takes almost a minute with his decision. He's thinking really hard if he's getting the right price to draw. He does eventually toss the money in for a call, so with almost $900 in the middle, please no spade dealer, anything but a spade, come on. And we do get our wish, it's black, but it's the 10 of clubs. He checks on over to us, and he has around $550 left in his stack, and he's not gonna call any size bet with missed spades, so hoping he has 2 pair of some sort, or a single pair type hand with no spades, which in turn he might assign us missed spades and call us off trying to be a hero. But regardless, I think there's only one move here, so we go for it all and announce all in. We don't get snap called. I mean, only 2 hands beat us. Well, 3 now. Pocket aces, 3-4 first straight, and now 10s. But all those hands are extremely unlikely the way the hand is played out. So obviously praying for a call. He doesn't look happy about the situation at all, and doesn't take too long either, and puts in the chips for a call. The set over set? 5s? Show it, it'll be on the vlog. He doesn't show his hand, but he kind of nods. So wow, set over set. I have not had one of those in a really long time. I don't even know how long. Ones that have gone our way anyway. It felt really good to have this massive $2,000 pot come in our direction, because we've been getting wrecked the last few months of the year, more times than I can count. Queens versus jacks, a 4-1 favorite, not go our way. Ace king versus villains aces, or our aces versus ace king, and chopping the pot. Just a relieving feeling to have it go our way for a change for what feels like an eternity. The last hand we're going to go over in this session, we have ace 3 of hearts and end of the gun, again in one of the worst positions, but can't really pick when you get good cards, can you? We opened to $15. The button, small blind, and big blind made the call. So going 4 ways to a flop, and it's all high cards. Ace queen 10 with 1 heart, the small blind checks, action on the big blind, and he leads for $20. Not sure how to take this. High card board, you would think be better for us, but it was around the amount we were going to bet anyway. We were going to c-bet 25, maybe 30, so a discount, I guess. We make the call, the button and small blind fold their cards, so now we're heads up, and it's a really good card for us. It's a 4 of hearts. We have top pair and drawing to the nuts. He slows down this time and checks. Let's build this pot in case we hit and can win another massive one. We bet out $55. I don't want to make it too big in case he raises and we get blown off our equity. He makes the call right away, so give us a heart, make our lives easier, but nope, it pairs the board. It's another 4, brings in the front door flush. So the front door flush completes, and our kicker now is irrelevant. He checks on over to us, and we play this soft and check back. I don't think a bet would work anyway, unless we happen to go massive. If he does have an ace, he's calling pretty much anything. And I'm not sure what else is calling, plus a check raise would suck in this situation. Just was thinking ahead, but we do check back, and didn't matter because he had a small ace as well, so we chop it up. We don't get involved in many more significant hands. We give a few $100 back, raising with mediocre hands and then getting 3-bet and forced to fold, or having some draws that we had to stick with that didn't hit. We play till a little past midnight, and with a solid win, our first session of 2025, we gladly rack up our chips, head to the cage, and cash out. I hope you guys enjoyed the hands, off to the outro, and some last minute announcements. What a wild session. A great way to start the new year. Yes, guys, I know it's already February, but it's our first trip, our first poker trip of 2025, and it felt really good to start it off with a big win. We're in the game for $1,500, and we cashed out, didn't have to add on, we cashed out for $2,613, more than that. So a profit of $2,613. Which felt amazing. And it was a great start to the trip, this 5-day trip out in Vegas. So we have many more vlogs coming out very soon. And like I said earlier in the video, had an announcement about a meetup game. That is actually tomorrow, Valentine's Day. So February 14th, going down to El Paso tomorrow night. And we're gonna play at a new location. We've been to El Paso before, a few times for meetup games, but this one's gonna be at a new location. It's at BlueFelt, El Paso Card Club. We're gonna be playing 2-5 and have some fun, I promise you. And I just feel honored that they set this up for me because they didn't have to. And super grateful because any chance I have to play cards, I'm all for it. So if you guys are in the area, if you guys are close, go on down and show some love. If you guys can't make it, then make sure and show some love on this video. Give it a like. If you guys haven't subbed to the channel yet, go ahead and do that. Hit the bell button so you guys are notified on the next video because we have some special ones for you, I promise you. Little different, you might be surprised on a few of them. Who knows, but they're gonna be awesome. So you guys will get the notification on all that stuff. You guys are subs, so sub, do it right now. Cool, you did it, awesome. And move your body, it's getting warmer outside. It's a summer, well it's spring first, then the summer, but soon you won't be able to hide behind jackets anymore. So move your body, stay active, and that's all I got, guys. Always remember, it's a great day you woke up today. I'm Matty Ice, this is Gainz Poker. Peace out.